And there's estimates of 50,000 migrants in Mexico waiting to cross if Title 42 ends. Is that accurate, and would that overwhelm the Border Patrol?
So look, I don't have a number for you at this time. What I can say is that we know smugglers will try to spread misinformation to take advantage of these vulnerable migrants. But I want to be very clear here. The fact is that the removal of Title 42 does not mean the border is open. Anyone who suggests otherwise is simply doing the work of these smugglers who, again, are spreading misinformation and which is very dangerous. We're going to continue to ask Congress to assist in helping with, especially congressional Republicans, to help us with what's going at the border if they are indeed serious about doing that. But look, even without their assistance, without many Republicans being involved here, congressional Republicans, we have secured more resources for the border than any president who preceded him, who preceded this current president. He has most agents ever, as I said, the 23,000 agents. And let's not forget, he's taking historic action to seize record levels of fentanyl from entering our country and taking thousands of smugglers off the streets. And that's without many congressional Republicans assisting here.
What is the White House's message to somebody who may see this somewhere in the Western Hemisphere and think, after Wednesday, it's going to be easier to get into the United States?
So look, first I want to say the president of Ecuador has been a very good partner to us on this very issue, so I want to make that very, very clear. But again, I stated this to Steve, and I'll say this again. The fact that the removal of Title 42 is happening in just a day or two doesn't mean that the border is open. It just doesn't mean that.
English to migrants who might be thinking about it, what should they do after Wednesday?
I just laid that really clear. It would be wrong to think that the border is open. It is not open. And I just want to be very, very clear about that. I do want to go back for a second to your immigration question. One of the reasons that I want to be very clear that to folks that the border is not open and we will remove using Title 8 is because by not being very clear on that, we are doing the work of the smugglers who are going to put forth misinformation. So we want to be very clear on that piece.
The president tasked the vice president with studying and working on the root causes of some of these issues. I'm wondering if there's any update from this side of the White House on what she's been doing and what she will continue to do as we're expecting an influx at the border after Wednesday.
As you know, the president appreciates the partnership that he has with the vice president. You're right, that has been her charge to work in a diplomatic way in finding the root causes of migration. I don't have anything to lay out specifically on what that work looks like, but again, we appreciate her partnership, and I would probably refer you to her office on anything specific on the work that she's doing.
Representative Cuellar told Face the Nation that he wants to see President Biden go to the border. He said it doesn't have to be for a photo op, but a leader has to show images of being up there in front. So does the president have any plans to go to the border? Is now a good time to go?
Like you said, I've addressed this before. Look, the president's focus right now is to come up with solutions. It's focused on making sure that we have the resources to manage the challenges that we're seeing at the border. And right now, as you know, we have a budget request in front of Congress. And again, if congressional Republicans are serious about dealing with the challenges that we're seeing at the border, they will assist.
But given what we're seeing at the border,
I just answered the question. I just said we've litigated that back and forth here for the past 2 weeks or so. The president's focus right now is to make sure that we have the resources to manage what's happening right now. And I want to be really careful. Again, look, you know, Title 42 is going to be lifted. Yes, it will. But we are going to move to Title 8. The border is not open. And so I want to be very clear about that because we were doing the smuggler's job if we spread misinformation. And so, again, just want to be very clear about that, and so I'm going to move on.
Texas Governor Abbott said that if Title 42 expires, that the border would be, quote, total chaos. Is that a correct assessment, or what's your response to that?
Here, what I can say, and I've answered this question many which ways from your colleagues today, what I can say is that Department of Homeland Security is surging resources at the border at this time, and we have additional robust planning efforts underway. And, you know, we need Congress to give us the funds we've requested to do this in a safe orderly, in a safe, orderly, and humane way. And again, I'll say this, one last time, if Republicans in Congress are serious about the border security, and actually addressing this challenge, they would ensure that the men and women at the Department of Homeland Security have the resources that they need to do their jobs. And so that's what we're going to continue to ask for and request. But again, we are doing the work. The president has been doing the work at the border since day one by first putting forth the immigration reform legislation, and also securing funding, historic funding to Department of Homeland Security, that 23,000 agents that matter. That is something we have not seen under any other president. Now we're asking congressional Republicans to assist and do the same.